welcome to Flashback Daily. Today we're diving into a date that, might seem completely ordinary at first glance, but is actually a hidden cornerstone of global history. I'm talking about July 8th. In this explainer, we're going to see how one single calendar day connects a daring 15th century explorer, a mysterious flying disc in New Mexico, and the final voyage of the space shuttle Atlantis. It's a really fantastic look at how history is constantly unfolding all around us.
Instead of a traditional agenda today, we're just going to take a chronological march of progress. From 1497 all the way up to 2011, we'll trace the domino effect of human history across different eras. You'll see how actions taken centuries ago literally set the stage for the modern world we live in right now. And the coolest part? Every single one of these pivotal moments happened on exactly July 8th. Okay, let's dive into this first era. Oceans and independence. This was a time really defined by expanding boundaries, where humanity began pushing its geographical and political limits on a massive scale. So picture this, it's July 8th, 1497, and Portuguese explorer Vasco da Gama departs from Lisbon into the complete unknown. His goal? To totally bypass those heavily taxed, centuries-old overland Silk Road routes and open the very first direct sea route from Europe to India via the Cape of Good Hope. By successfully navigating this super treacherous new path, da Gama fundamentally shifted global trade. This single departure sparked European maritime dominance in the Indian Ocean and marked the absolute beginning of Portuguese colonial expansion in Asia. The global economy was just forever changed.
Fast forward to July 8, 1776, right in the middle of the sweltering heat of Philadelphia. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that this was the day the newly adopted United States Declaration of Independence was publicly read to citizens for the very first time. While the ink on the document itself was already dry, it was this public reading that acted as a major catalyst for the American Revolution on the ground. It didn't just establish an independent nation, the words spoken out loud that day sparked a global thirst for liberty that would go on to influence democratic movements all over the world.
Moving right along into our second era, opening borders and markets. As we roll into the 19th century, we see global exchange and economic modernization rapidly accelerating. For over 200 years, Japan maintained a strict, literally impenetrable policy of isolation from the outside world. So the crucial point is that all ended abruptly on July 8, 1853. On this exact day, Matthew C. Perry arrived in Edo Bay with a fleet of American warships, demanding that Japan open its ports to foreign trade. This incredibly dramatic arrival immediately ended those 2 centuries of isolation. It sparked the rapid modernization of Japan and eventually contributed to the massive political and social shift we know as the Meiji Restoration.
Now, just as physical borders were opening across the Pacific, financial frontiers were expanding back in the United States. On July 8, 1889, financial journalists began publishing the very first edition of what we now know as the Dow Jones Industrial Average. What started out as kind of just a niche informational tool for early investors fundamentally shaped the entire landscape of modern financial reporting. This one single publication laid the groundwork for exactly how we understand and track the global economy today.
Which brings us to our third era, breaking barriers and flight. Because while the Dow Jones was opening new economic frontiers, America would break some massive social and technological frontiers next.
Case in point, on July 8, 1922, Alaska Davidson achieved an absolutely incredible milestone. She was officially appointed as the first female special agent in the FBI. Breaking into this historically male-dominated field required immense grit, as you can probably imagine. Davidson's achievement on this day was an incredibly important milestone for women in American law enforcement, basically paving the way for generations of female agents to follow.
Okay, now here's a question that has captivated the public imagination for decades. Weather balloon or flying disc? On July 8, 1947, a highly unusual event took place in Roswell, New Mexico. The US military actually made a stunning announcement that they had recovered a flying disc, only to rapidly retract it, claiming, no, actually, it was just a weather balloon. This frantic back and forth ignited an absolute firestorm. It essentially gave birth to modern conspiracy culture and cemented the Roswell Incident as one of history's most famous mysteries, all tracing back to this one specific day in July. And this brilliantly illustrates our next technological leap. Because just 7 years after the Roswell Incident, humanity conquered the skies in a much more tangible way. On July 8, 1954, the Boeing 367-80 prototype successfully completed its first flight.
This specific prototype directly led to the development of the iconic Boeing 707, which completely revolutionized commercial air travel and officially launched the modern jet age. Suddenly, the world became way smaller and more connected than ever before.
Let's move to and see how this builds into our final era, endings and the final frontier. As we approach the modern day, July 8th really becomes a date marked by major global endings and our pivot toward the future.
On the geopolitical stage, July 8, 1994 brought a highly significant event to the Korean Peninsula. On this day, Kim Il-sung, the founding leader of North Korea, died. Now, looking purely at the geopolitical facts and structural changes that followed, his death resulted directly in the succession of his son, Kim Jong-il. This transition cemented the world's very first hereditary communist leadership, a really unique political structure that continues to shape international relations to this day.
Finally, we look up to the stars to conclude our timeline. On July 8, 2011, the Space Shuttle Atlantis launched on mission STS-135. Now, this was no ordinary launch. It definitively marked the end of NASA's legendary 30-year Space Shuttle program. But, every ending is a new beginning. The retirement of the shuttle fleet that day marked a deliberate transition toward the next era of exploration, commercial human spaceflight. From Vasco da Gama navigating the oceans to Atlantis navigating the stars, the human drive to push boundaries is just a constant thread.
And there you have it. From maritime trade routes and the birth of nations to opening borders, breaking ceilings, and launching into the cosmos. This explainer demonstrates exactly how much human progress can be encompassed in just one single calendar day. History isn't just a list of years. It's shaped one day at a time. It kind of makes you wonder, what happened on July 9th? Well, stay tuned to find out. Thank you so much for joining me and keep exploring.